Welcome to Her Love of Sports with your host, Katie Hamilton.
Hello and welcome to Her Love of Sports, where we are highlighting and promoting professional women in the sports industry. Founded in 1968 by Eunice Kennedy Shriver, Special Olympics is a global organization that promotes understanding, acceptance, and inclusion. Their mission, Special Olympics Canada, is dedicated to enriching the lives of Canadians with an intellectual disability through sport. And the vision is that sport will open hearts and minds to people with intellectual disabilities and create an inclusive communities all across Canada. I am excited to introduce to you today our guests, athletes Tracey Melesko and Kelsey Wyse, and Coach Annabel Stanley. Welcome to Her Love of Sports. How are you doing?
We're doing great.
Doing good.
Excellent.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to hear your stories, your career journey. So, Annabel, let's start with you. You're a coach. How did you get into this coaching role?
Through the back door, really. My son, Francis Stanley, is also another athlete. And we started with Special Olympics Kelowna about nearly 15 years ago. And I went as a volunteer and then kept raising my hand and did the coaching courses and ended up, as head coach going to World Games. Well, we were going to go to Russia. But so it's been it's thanks to my wonderful, beautiful son who introduced me to all these amazing athletes and this fantastic movement, which is Special Olympics.
That's amazing. Okay. And Tracey, you're the first athlete inducted to the Special Olympics BC Hall of Fame. Am I correct in saying cross-country skiing and track and field were your sports?
Yes, it is. Yeah. No, it was actually in track and field. I was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So, cross-country skiing just came later. Yeah.
And how did you start playing these sports? What got you into it?
Well, I started way back when I was in high school. A teacher introduced me to it. And then they thought, oh, why don't you go into a Special Olympics? And I didn't know what to expect. At first, I went into my first provincial, regionals, and then I kind of liked it after that, So initially, Tracey, you started with Paralympics, didn't you? Yes, I did. And then you came over to Special Olympics. Well, no, I didn't start Paralympics till the middle of it, Okay. But Special Olympics was there. Yeah, it is there. I just wanted to experience a little bit higher in the competition. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
So. Yeah, and I've been in Special Olympics for 34 years.
Wow, 34 years. Congratulations. What a career you have.
Thank you. Yeah. Many World Games. How many World Games, Tracey? This would have been my 6th World Games, but unfortunately with Kova and Russia against Ukraine, it's not a really good thing right now. So yeah, it would have been my 6th one. But yeah, I've been to 5 so far, and 2 Paralympic Games.
Wow. That's amazing. And Kelsey, you participate in swimming and alpine skiing. Is that correct?
I did alpine skiing before I joined in cross country. Garth likes to say the dark side for alpine.
Garth being our Kelowna head coach.
Yeah. Yes, I am in swimming. I've been to 2 World Games for swimming already. I've been to LA and to Abu Dhabi and Dubai for swimming.
Wow, that's amazing. Which one was your favorite country to visit?
It has to be LA. The reason why is because I got to see my idol.
Who is?
Michael Phelps.
No, really? Wow, where did you meet Michael Phelps?
In LA.
Wait, was it just on the road? Was it at the swimming?
It was, I was going to be doing an interview with him.
Wow, that's amazing. Michael Phelps is huge in the swimming world. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And so, Annabel, you coached Kelsey and Tracey, or how did you guys first meet and how did this relationship start?
Well, Tracey was already existing on the team when I joined the team. So I've been coaching with
with Tracey for, as I say, nearly 15 years. And then Kelsey joined us just before COVID. And she came to national games to, where did we go? To Thunder Bay. And then she made it onto the Canadian team. And so it's been a perfect sort of transition of basically I was chosen to be head coach for the Canadian team, or for the cross country. Initially it was for Sweden, and then that got cancelled, and then we were going to Russia. So I've kept them training through to national games, and then also on through COVID for our World Games. And we've actually bonded and become a really super team. Both girls have sort of chosen bucket lists of what to do. And Kelsey's bucket list was to try to climb to the top of Little White, which is the highest mountain in our valley. And from the top of Little White to the bottom of the lake, it's the same as the Grand Canyon. So it's a pretty high elevation up there. Kelsey likes to talk a lot, and we thought she'd be a good deterrent to the bears. But after 7 hours, she was fairly silent when we got down. But the bucket list is still there, and she wants to go back up again this year.
That's amazing. When did you guys do that?
That would have been the first summer of COVID. So that would have been 21. Yes.
Wow.
2020.
2019.
2019. That was before COVID, wasn't
it?
it?
2019.
Yeah.
So, seems a long time ago now. Yeah, and then we've kept. Then we were very fortunate. We kept training through COVID. Initially, just sort of without contact, and then we were through Special Olympic rules. We were allowed to wear our masks, and we've been most fortunate that we've got an outdoor sport. And then the winter of 2021, we actually managed to get a program running. We were one of the only programs for Special Olympics to have a program running through the winter. So we've just kept training all through the last couple of years. So yeah, and the year before to get to nationals. It's been a long time, hasn't it, girls?
Wow. That's amazing. And talking about training, let's segment into what is it like being a Special Olympics athlete, and what's kind of that training routine that you go through to prepare for your competitions?
For me, for swimming, I have a swim meet coming up, and that's going to be this coming next Saturday, and it's in Kelowna. So I am doing the 400 free.
Wow.
So I do long distance swimming.
Wow, amazing.
So I'm good at doing long distance swimming. If I do short distance swimming, it's too easy.
You like to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And the coaches get into Kelsey's head. And what do you hear, Kelsey?
Sometimes I hear Gar saying, stay on the track, or
Hop, hop, hop.
hop, 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 yeah.
And how about you, Tracey? How do you get prepared for your competitions?
Okay, so I trained about 6 days a week.
Wow.
I usually do some in the home too. So I have my own home gym, so it's kind of nice that I can do that. And then when it's nice and sunny and it's warm, I go out road cycling. I do a little bit of roller skiing. Last year I got a pair of roller skis for skates, so it's been a journey with that. So I've been working on that too. So and a lot of hiking with Kelsey and Annabel.
Oh, that's great. Annabel, what else is there to it? They say that let me rephrase that.
Basically, when you sign the contract, because every athlete, when they're chosen to be on the team, whether it be the national team or the regional team, you have to sign a contract that you have to be training at least 3 times a week. So generally, that will be twice a week with the coach. So either it's track and field or it's hiking. Obviously, in winter, ideally, it's skiing twice a week. And then the third is usually gym. So Kelsey goes to the gym at our local Parkinson Recreation here in Kelowna. And as I say, Tracey has a full-time job, so she works around that and has her own home gym at home. So at a minimum of 3 times a week. But these two have been phenomenal. I mean, 5 times a week these girls are going. Tracey's on her bike. She's got an indoor bike, or she's biking outside. Kelsey's swimming, or she's at the gym, or she's walking. We're hoping to get her on roller skis this year, perhaps. So even though World Games has been cancelled, we will continue to train right through the summer, just because we enjoy hanging out together.
So the World Champions is canceled this year, as it was in Russia. So what's kind of the next big thing? What are you preparing for next?
We're preparing for provincials for next year. So it'll be in Kamloops. This is for the 3rd time now for Kamloops. So yeah, that's what we're aiming for next year. Yeah.
And for me, it might be having to do with World Games happening next year for swimming. I have no idea what is going on for that. So
we've got a little bit out of sync because we lost 2 years leading to the Summer World Games. And there's and we basically, that's why we were going overtime for the Winter World Games. So that's another reason we had to cancel over that as well. So now we're back in sync. We've just had our regional competition this winter. It'll be provincials in Kamloops next year. And then it'll be the nationals, and then it'll be World Games again. So we'll be back on track for that. So it's every 4 years.
Every 4 years. Just kind of just like the Olympics, every 4 years.
Exactly. Yes. And and we alternate. Obviously, ideally we wouldn't have 2 World Games in 1 year, because I mean, we have an incredible team who have to organize flights, hotel accommodation. We have our sponsors that help with that. And we rely, heavily on sponsors, so that every athlete has the opportunity to be able to attend any of these games.
Wow.
There is one thing that we are doing for our team. Since we're not doing World Games, we are going to we finally get to be able to see our the other athletes in Canada in June.
So that will include it'll include the figure skating and the whole team, the alpine team. All of us will be there together.
Wow. Do you find, so Tracey and Kelsey, you both do many sports. Is that kind of a thing for the athletes in the Special Olympics, that they do many different sports and compete for many different sports?
Yes, they actually do. Usually some of the athletes can compete at least 4 or 5 sports, and so, yeah, you have to pick one or the other, by the time you do provincials or regionals, or world level, yeah.
I have a best friend, and her name is Maria, and she's done about more than one sport all the time.
And for a lot of you, it's a social interaction as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And this is your friendship has developed. I mean, it's been fantastic, you two. I mean, you didn't have this friendship before we started training together, did you?
No.
That's beautiful. Annabel, I'll start with you. What would you say would be one of your favorite or your highlight moments being a coach for the Special Olympics teams?
Oh, one of my favorite. That's a good question. I think it's just the adventures that we have when we are a team. When we were trying to get back from Newfoundland, we had a problem, not enough snow whilst we were competing, and then a massive snowstorm coming through, and the whole team just gets together. And we, just the flights were cancelled, flights were changed. Everything was just suddenly just up in the air. We had the wrong meals on the wrong flights, and the athletes all just band together, and we're a team, and we deal with whatever is thrown our way. it is the way everybody develops as a team, and the trust that the athletes have for the coaches and the coaches have for, the next level up to keep us all on, getting home or getting to the games.
So most athletes can do 4 to 5 different sports. Are you carrying the same coach throughout all sports, or do you have an individual coach for each sport you do?
I was coaching soccer and cross-country skiing, but having a job as well, I grow grapes. I found actually it was quite stressful having to have the summer coaching duties. Mm-hmm. So I'm now just a winter coach because all our coaches are volunteers. So we just have to, sort of work around our work schedule. Yeah. So many, there are many people who step up for many things. We have a problem with COVID, getting back into we've lost a few coaches through COVID, sort of getting out of sync. We are looking for new coaches. I think golf and soccer, we're looking for more coaches on. So
and softball.
Yeah.
And in athletics too. Yeah.
How would one go about if someone's interested, if they hear this and they're like, I'd love to participate, I'd love to get involved. What's the best route for people to get involved?
The thing is to chat to lots of your friends and other people, and, amazing the people you meet on the ski trails or wherever it is, and just get them to 1 or 2 practices. And honestly, we have such fun. The enjoyment that we actually get out of it is hard to put away at the end of the season. So we have a head office here in Kelowna, and we have an amazing sort of coordinator, Susan Foisey, and she will put the right people in touch with the right sport. Also through university, a lot of students are looking for volunteer hours to come and, to match their curriculum. So another thing is just, match the sport. So only volunteer for what you really enjoy. And I must say, all our volunteers, they definitely love cross-country skiing. How do the athletes get involved? I could talk quickly on that.
Yes,
through the resource rooms in school, quite often the resource teacher will put athletes in touch, with a sport that might be suitable for them, and then just through the community. I mean, Kelsey, how would you say you got involved?
So to begin with, I also have a brother, and his name is Ben Wilms, and he's also special needs as well. So my mom found out from a friend of hers that got me and Ben both into Special Olympics. So that's kind of how I got into swimming and some other sports too. So
it's through the community, really.
Mm-hmm.
Tracey, yours was through school, wasn't it, initially?
Yes, it was actually through high school. That's how I knew Cheryl Tutt, so Cheryl Tutt got me involved into Special Olympics. So it went from there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let's go to now your favorite moments of being a part of the Special Olympics. So Kelsey, I'll start with you. If you could think of 1 or even 2 moments that you've had in your career, what would be a really special moment or a highlight that stands out to you?
Well, for us as athletes, we have a motto that we say all the time. And I hear this a lot from different athletes, and it's, let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. And I always like to hear that because it makes me think of another motto I like to use sometimes. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. All it matters is if you have fun.
And Tracey, how about you? Do you have a moment that's really stuck out?
I guess because when I did my first World Games, it was a totally experience I've never been to, and it was like, oh my God, there's all these thousands of athletes, and you get to meet a lot of different athletes. And then when I went to the Paralympics, it was another totally different experience, just a little higher, but yeah, it was good, and it was a good experience to be in both levels. Yeah.
Another thing I like to do is I like to collect pins.
Oh yeah, pin training is really kind of unique, and you get some different unique pins from different athletes in different countries.
Not just different countries, but also different provinces too.
Yeah.
So just explain that. So for the listeners that don't know, can you explain that? What the pins are and how you get them? Is it each players kind of have them? How does it work?
Well, so each country has their own pins. It depends on what they give you, you know. Like, so if we would have went to Russia, like they told us to go to the dollar store and get some unique pins to give out to athletes, for Canada. Sometimes we only get so many for each of our teams. So yeah, and then
you want to approach the smaller teams first because they'll have less pins to give out. There's a lot of competition that goes on.
You know. So with cross country skiing, we just go around other athletes and we just trade off with pins. It's kind of interesting. You'd be surprised what you come up with.
New Brunswick was always a favorite.
Yeah.
Also, Kelowna has pins too that you have to go down to City Hall to get. But
so Tracey, you've had a long career. What advice would you have to fellow athletes that are looking to pursue in their sport? Do you have any advice for them?
Well, just keep going. Don't give up. Like, I know some athletes, when we were doing our Zooming, it just like you could feel their energy, at first, because I know it was a disappointment for all of us, but you know what? There always will be another World Games again. Never give up. I know you love your sport, and somewhere we're just going to retire. Just don't give up.
Kelsey, how about you? Do you have any advice that you'd give to young athletes?
I would to give you a heads up. I have two nieces who are also special needs as well. So one is not a lot special needs, but the other one is. So the thing that I would tell, if she's willing to want to do Special Olympics when she gets a little older, I would just say, your aunt is doing Special O, your uncle's doing Special O, so why don't you give it a try and see if you're wanting to try and do something like that.
And it doesn't have to be something as energetic as cross-country skiing. You can also do bocce. You can do
My brother does bocce.
Yeah, curling. And that's because his balance isn't so good.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a high-end, sort of skate skier. You can do bocce. You can do curling. Adapt the sport to your ability because everybody is able.
And that's another thing that they're waiting for is a coach for curling too.
Okay, put it out there.
Put it out there, coach for curling. Lots of opportunities to be involved in the Special Olympics.
I even have a nephew who's in Special Olympics, and he lives in Prince George. Yeah,
it's lovely. There's Tracey with her twin brother Neil, and then her nephew as well, which is lovely.
That's amazing. You are all so inspiring, and I love hearing your stories and to continue to follow and see everything that you accomplish. Annabel, is there anything else that you think we haven't covered that would be good to share in the story?
I just think that Special Olympics is not just about the sport; it's also about the community. And then I'm a parent as well. So not only am I a coach, but I'm also a parent. And just to see the inclusion of, my son, with a community that has become his friends. And then also our cross-country ski club included him with training with the main telemark race team. And he was training with national athletes. And he was included, amongst the team. So, it's not just the community of Special Olympics. It's the community within Kelowna. And then it goes out to the community when we go to, say, provincial games. I see familiar faces that I've, been coaching before. And then we go to national games and I see athletes from around the whole country. And then maybe I might go to World Games next time round. If I've done a good enough job with Zooms and things on this time round. It really is inclusion and community and having fun and laughing. And that's what life is all about.
I love it. When I follow these Special Olympics, it always seems like it's just such a great time, and the love, the passion, everything is there. It's wonderful to see. So what's the next step? We kind of talked about it, but what's the next step now for your team? The World Championships in Russia is canceled. So what's the next kind of goal that you're working towards?
So our team is dispersing. We'll have one get together in Toronto, and then the teams will disperse. They will now join summer programs, and they will train through the summer with the summer programs. I will continue to train. Well, it's more like having a good time and hiking with Tracey and Kelsey, and we call it training. And then next fall, we'll start to get the athletes again together. By January, we'll have our program up and running. We'll have our provincial games in Kamloops, as we explained, and then we go through to national games the year after, and then each time the selection goes in, not all athletes will go forward to provincials. They have to be able to travel independently. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of responsibility as coaches. We take those responsibilities, very seriously. So that every athlete is in a safe environment and a caring environment, and we don't lose any athletes on the way to or from games. It helps.
Absolutely.
And hoping for us, Annabel, is that we can get more hikers outside in the fall, later on in the fall, not just me and Tracey, but I'm saying some people who won't.
Kelsey.
Sorry, that was it just fell for some reason.
That's okay. We can take a minute to set it up.
So we're going to have to hold it, I guess.
Okay.
So hoping we can actually get more people out.
If we have... Kelsey will organize us all, and the whole team will have...
I'll join too. I'll come over to the mainland for a hike. And Annabel, I guess you can probably answer this as one last thing for if the community or just the general public, say, for instance, myself, want to be involved, learn more. What's the best way? Is it going to the Special Olympics website, the BC website? What's the best way for the community and for the public to get involved?
Definitely go to your local office. So look up Special Olympics, SOBC. They can put you in touch with the right coordinator. We have an amazing fundraiser called Motion Ball, which is every fall, which raises a lot of money for Special Olympics. So you could even put a team together and come and meet the athletes at Motion Ball. That will get you into the spirit. So yes, just contact, come along and join us in a program if you wish to. And then we've got you hooked, and you're going to have to be there for life.
And it's not just the fall. It's also in the spring, too, that we have Motion Ball as well.
Yes, and that's more with the universities, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Wonderful. Well, Annabel, Kelsey, and Tracey, thank you so much for joining us on Her Love of Sports. I love hearing your journeys, your stories, and I'm so excited to follow your careers as they continue on. It's been awesome having you.
Thank you for your interest and your support.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
To catch all the latest, make sure to follow us on social media at Her Love of Sports and check out herloveofsports.com.